was on the Undateables. He should be joining me very soon on the show. So we're just waiting for Richard to join us, and we could have a chat with him. He should be with us very soon. I think he's got a few issues connecting with us. So just bear with us if you just joined us. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a great show coming up for you this afternoon. We've got Richard Lawrence, who was on the Channel 4 show Undateables. So we should be bringing Richard up soon. Just bear with us, everybody. He will be joining us soon. Just having a few issues trying to connect to us, but you should hopefully be with us very soon. We've got Richard. Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining us. I'm so pleased I've got you on my show today. I can't wait to talk to you about lots of different things, Richard, and I'm sure it'll be a really enjoyable show. So first of all, Richard, I just want to ask you, what's your thoughts on the coronavirus?
Well, really, I suppose, I don't know, really, to be quite honest. It causes people a lot of anxiety. I think it's more fear, really, than anything, because, I mean, we've had flu going around many, many times before. I mean, I think people are sort of panicking, really, about it.
Does it worry you, Richard, as a person living with autism? Does the coronavirus scare you, or are you anxious about it?
Well, it sort of scares me a bit because, you know, I mean, you might lose somebody close to you. I mean, so far, so good. My mum's been okay. It's a worry because she's over 70.
So is your mum isolating?
Well, sort of. I mean, we have to do it to a certain degree because everybody else is doing it. So we're kind of following through.
So when you say sort of, Richard, is she isolating, or is she meeting up with friends and family?
Well, obviously, I go around to see her. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop that because
So you're not isolating. You're going around still seeing mum.
I'm still going around to see mum. Yes.
And what does mum say about that?
Well, my mum's okay about it
Okay.
because I'm not really mixing with anybody else.
Right. And your mum isn't mixing with anybody else.
No.
No.
Not to my knowledge, she isn't. No.
Right. Does your mum have any underlying health conditions, or is she perfectly healthy?
Perfectly healthy, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, well, that's really good to know, Richard, because I think with the coronavirus, it's people over 70 who've got underlying health conditions.
Yeah.
It can affect them more. So anyway, let's move on from the negative stuff, because we don't want to talk about negative stuff. It's coronavirus. We don't really want to talk about that. So let's talk about you, Richard. Now, Richard, you're a TV star, aren't you?
I am indeed. Yes, absolutely.
Now, people who aren't watching, tell us what you've done on TV so far.
Well, basically, it's been more just the undateables. I've been going on dates with various women. You may remember a few series back, I went on the date with this Russian girl, Anna. She was actually my favourite one. I kind of felt, you know, yeah, there's a connection here, but unfortunately, I did drop the clangor of mentioning Chernobyl. It's something that I've studied a lot.
Why, Richard? What happened with that? What happened there with Chernobyl and the
Uh,
days?
well, basically, I took rather a keen interest in the situation. Everybody had to basically leave the surrounding areas so they wouldn't get poisoned.
Oops.
So it was something that I was really interested in. I would actually quite like to live in an area where there isn't that many people. I mean, of course, there are people who've actually stayed there, and kind of like open spaces where, oh, you seem to have gone, Kevin. Are you still there? I seem to have lost.
I'm back, Richard. Can you see me?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah,
can see
okay.
you. Yes.
For some reason, I've just swapped over screens. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, Richard. Go on. Sorry for interrupting you. Carry on.
Yeah, where did we get to? Basically, I was saying that I rather like being in an area that's very large and that sort of just belongs to me, really, which I quite like. I loved having a big garden when I was a boy growing up because we had rather a nice big garden, lots of land from when we came back from Norway to England. We had this lovely big garden, but of course, unfortunately, well, I moved out of home and I've now got a flat by myself. But it's nothing like having sort of huge garden where basically it was just mine, my mum's, my brother's, and nobody else really, sort of thing. And I really like that.
Okay. Well, we can ask people to drop questions in. I'll put the questions up on the screen as well in a few seconds. Then people can answer the questions. But I just want to go back to the undateables, Richard. How many dates did you have? I've got two questions for you. How many dates did you have? Which was the most successful date, and which was the worst date?
Right. I think well, there was Patricia, and then there was no, it was Dawn, Patricia. I'm getting muddled up now, and then I think there was Anna, and who else was it in between? But the thing is, you see, it all comes down to law of attraction, really,
Hmm.
and Anna, the Russian one, I just felt an attraction to, but none of the others really. I didn't really feel any attraction to really. So
So, are you still in contact with any of them from the TV show? Do you still
uh,
keep in touch with them, or have you just?
no, not really. Yeah, we remained in contact with one of them, Anna, the other one, the other Anna. I was in contact with her for a little while, and Laura, the last one, she got a bit sort of. I don't know. She got a bit sort of upset that I just didn't like Christmas at all. So
So explain to the viewers now, Richard, about Christmas. What's do you like? Do you really like Christmas, Richard? And tell us about these Christmas trees.
okay, right. Well, actually, no. I detest Christmas altogether because it's basically one of those times where everybody's expected to spend loads of money in the shops and all that sort of stuff. And
So you don't want to spend any money.
I don't want to spend any money. No, I just feel really it's a waste of time. So, but I'll tell you about the Christmas tree. basically, we bought a Christmas tree, not last year, the year before, and it was got this lovely Christmas tree. I think we spent about sort of 25 quid on this Christmas tree, and I thought to myself, actually, the idea came to me when I was about 8. I said to my mum, I said, Mum, why don't we keep last year's Christmas tree and just put tinsel on it? And she, oh no, for goodness sake. Well, yeah, but it would look really nice.
So,
And
so you believe in recycling Christmas trees?
I do, yes. Um, so anyway, I said to her, later on, well, why didn't we use some spray paint and spray the tree, and then that way you get an artificial tree from a real tree. And so, lo and behold, I wasn't expecting her to agree to this, but lo and behold, she did actually agree to it. So
Right.
I thought, well, great, let's spray it and make it look really nice and silvery. One year we had a gold one, which I didn't think looked particularly good, but I think the silvery ones go better somehow.
So are you still recycling the Christmas trees?
Yes, we're going to have the same tree next year, hopefully. We might spray it again, we might not. It kind of depends, really.
Hmm.
But hopefully we'll make the one that we've got look even better.
So just coming back to we'll go right from the very start now, Richard. So when did you actually get diagnosed with autism?
Well, basically, that was when I was in Norway. We were sort of toing and froing from Norway to England, England to Norway, basically. It always was that when I reached school age, we would actually come back home to England. So in the summer holidays and Easter holidays, we came over and we saw the psychologist at St George's Hospital, Tooting. He was very reluctant to actually put a label on me. My mum begged him for a label, must be a label for it, a reason for it, so they could research what I actually had that was wrong with me. Because I didn't actually learn to talk until I was actually 3 years old. And apparently, the first word I said was gun. And my mum was absolutely flabbergasted.
You said what, Richard?
Gun.
Go
We
on.
were at the airport, and I pointed up at this gun, apparently. I went, gun. So obviously, I knew what it was that I was looking at. So anyway, what happened was the psychologist, he was like, "No, I don't want to put a label on it." And of course, my mum read his notes that was on the table. This boy has autistic tendencies. So of course, my mum was, I can probably put words into his mouth here. So she did try, and oh, no, no, no. Very, very reluctant to actually put a label on it. And it wasn't until I got into my early 20s, after I left Lingfield Hospital School, but it was actually a hospital. That's another area that we'll go into in a minute. But so anyway, when I got into my early 20s, I had a discussion with somebody, and they kind of put it into me. Your friend Anthony is autistic. Oh, you've gone again, Kevin. Oh, you're back again.
I'm back. I'm there. I'm here.
Yeah. Anyway, my friend Anthony, it was suggested that he has autism. You went to a school for people with autism. So, that's probably what you are. And I said, actually, you're probably right. So, anyway, I was having all sorts of issues with the social worker, and I actually put it into their head. I said, look, um, I'm autistic. I know I'm autistic. Come on. And got to the psychologist. No, you're not autistic. No, 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 no. You're not autistic. You wouldn't even be able to look at me if you were autistic. You wouldn't even be able to talk to me. You just like this, you down here like this. No, 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 no. Not bad to be able to look at me. And I was like, oh God, I mean, for goodness sake, there's a whole school of people who, yes, they have problems and all that sort of stuff. If you really intimidate them, yes, some of them are like that, but I was like, you've got very, very little knowledge span about autism, and I suggest you increase your knowledge span on this. So, anyway, I kept on about it, kept on being rather irritating to them about it. But I'm one of those people who will just keep on and on and on and on and on until I get what I want. So I kept on and on and on and on and on for about probably 3 years for the proper diagnosis. And so did my mum as well. My mum kept on about it. And the social worker eventually said, okay, right, I'll get him to see the proper top person in the local authority to see him. And so, of course, we did that. And the lady actually said, actually, yes, you are a classic case of autism. You are 100% autistic. You have got autism. And that was it. So we had the social worker and the psychologist discredited, and basically both had to go. So they had to leave the profession. But I don't think I was very popular for quite a number of years. In fact, I was absolutely hated for it. But I didn't care, quite frankly.
Now, I've actually seen your mum on the TV show, The Undateables, and your mum's really, really lovely. So tell her that from me. Your
Yeah,
your
I
your
will. Yeah.
your mum's great. She's so her empathy and her understanding. She's really good. She's really good. And if people are watching this now, go watch the catch-ups of Undateables. We've got a question here. Let me just pop it up on the screen here, and then I can read it to you. This is from
Okay.
Julia. Julia says, Richard, do you have a PhD in self-isolation? My son definitely has, and he won't even leave his bedroom.
I don't know that I've got a PhD in self isolation, but actually, that's a good point. Because if there was such a degree, I think I'd probably actually get it. Actually, I just have to sort up a little bit on the stuff, and I
Yeah.
think I'll probably get it. I think you probably get it as well.
Do you think a lot of children today, Richard, have this, these gamers and these kids who are on, the Xboxes and whatever? Do you think the self-isolation which we all have to adhere to now, do you think it bothers them or not, or do you think they're experts at it?
Actually, quite possibly, because they're just on
Sorry,
the.
Rich, I've got to have a coffee, Rich. Carry on.
I understand. Yes. So yes, where do we get to? Yes, I think actually possibly it might even be easy for them because their minds are literally just sort of on what they're doing, what they're playing, and all of that sort of stuff, and they'll be really quite good at it. So they might actually not mind
Yeah,
being.
I quite agree. We got a message here from Sheila. Sheila, thanks for joining us. She says, "Have you found a girlfriend yet, Richard? Loved watching you and your mum on the Undateable." So Sheila says, "Have you got a girlfriend?"
I'm still actually looking, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite difficult finding somebody local to me. I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know how you feel about this, Kevin, but I'm actually looking for somebody that's not autistic, actually.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I don't actually seem to usually be attracted to women with autism. It's very rare for me to actually feel a sort of an attraction to women that just like me. I think it's because I'm too like them. If you see what I mean.
So do you think then, Richard, if you went out with a girl with autism, don't you think even if you're attracted to her, would you? Do you think you would not get on? Do you think you'd have an argument or you'd fall out or?
I think that possibly we'd have a fallout because many years ago now, going back to when I was in Lingfield Hospital, there was a girl who she had epilepsy, but looking back, actually, she would have been on the autism spectrum, and she would actually tick all of those boxes, I'm sure. And she actually kind of found me very, I don't know what's the word, I suppose intimidating, really, because we were both sort of fixed in our ways, really. To start with, I found her quite attractive, and there were sort of certain things about her that were rather, how can I put it without being horrible? Certain things about her were rather off putting, and they were actually rather off putting to other people within our group, so I wasn't the only one.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was going to ask next, Richard, what things really, really get on your nerves? What things really get on your nerves, or what things do you really hate?
Right, okay.
Have you got
There
have
are
you, have
lots
you
of
got a list?
There are loads of things that I absolutely hate. Um, I don't like it when people tell me what I can't do. I mean, mustn't do this, mustn't do that, can't do this, can't do that. You're
I
not doing
agree
it,
with you there. Yeah.
not doing that. And I mean, one of my real pet hates was when I was in Lingfield Hospital School all those years ago, because a lot of them had epilepsy. Um, you were sort of watched all of the time, and the other people there were all watched all of the time, sort of thing, and it was kind of misused in a way, I feel, because it was kind of like they could watch out for you all of the time. And when I got to the point where I was more independent within that setting, I moved on to a ward where I was sort of more able to do my own cooking, that sort of thing. And I can remember it was pointed out to me that I was being greedy with the food, and I didn't think I was being very greedy with the food. I remember the first day I had beans on toast for my tea, um, two slices of bread and some beans on the top, and I didn't think I was being particularly greedy myself. In fact, it wasn't enough. Um, anyway, following day I only had one slice of beans and toast with some beans on the top. Actually, Richard, you've still got rather a lot there. I was like, get lost. I said an expletive as well, but I'm trying to keep off the bad language if I possibly can. So anyway, I think it was the following day or following week, I stuck to the rules. So I thought you would have two sausages or two burgers and one grill steak. So, but I didn't realise that actually meant one or the other. So I took two sausages, two burgers, and a grill steak. So anyway, I started cooking the stuff, and this lady, member of staff, nurse, said, you've got rather a lot of meat there, Richard Lawrence. And I said, well, I stuck to the rules. I took two sausages, two burgers, and a grilled steak. So I don't really see what the problem is. He goes, And I was like, I thought that rationing ended 50 years ago.
Now, the thing is, Richard, with the coronavirus, what would happen if the UK brought rationing? Would you agree?
Well, well, actually, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't agree with it, and I would argue the toss. I mean, maybe I'd perhaps put up with it if it was temporary, but if it was going on for years, I'd start to argue the toss, and quite possibly, it could even lead to me breaking the law. Quite possibly.
You know what I really like about you, Richard, and I don't say this much to people, but what I really like about you is that you're so honest and you tell it how it is.
I do. I really do.
And that's a really good quality to have, I think,
Yeah.
as human beings, because some people just hush hush, don't say anything, and don't say anything basically. So
Yeah.
you like me in quite a lot of ways. You speak your mind.
Yeah, I do. Oh, I've got another thing for you. A few years ago, might even have been before I actually knew you. I think probably was before I even knew you. Um, I made a bit of a mistake. I was in my car. Was I in my car or was I in a van? I didn't think I was in my car at the time, but I turned right at the traffic lights, and there was this ambulance coming the other way, and there was a police car behind me, and the ambulance had his sirens on, and I made the mistake of thinking it was a police car behind me wanting to get through. So, through the lights when they were red, and I was like, oh no, he's going to stop me in a minute. I know he is. And so I'd gone further down the road, and oh, his lights haven't gone on yet. Oh, maybe I've got away with it this time, but how he's not pulling me over at this stage, I don't know. So I got a bit further down the road, lights started flashing, so over I pulled, and he got out, and he goes, so do you know why I've actually stopped you, sir? Well, yes. Okay. Can I ask you to get out of the vehicle, sir? Yes, no problem. And so I got out of the vehicle, and I was a bit nervous. So, should we go onto the pavement where it's safe, sort of safer for me or you? Safer for us. You got a bit sort of abrupt. Okay, yes. On the pavement we went. So anyway, I actually said to him, the reason I did that was because you were behind me, and I actually thought it was you behind me wanting to get through. So, okay, we'll do some checks on your vehicle, and then we're not going to do you or anything for that. But I had to pull you over because otherwise, people would think, why hasn't he pulled him over, sort of thing. So anyway, he did his checks, and he goes, it's Richard Lawrence, isn't it? I said, yes. There's no problem. You can basically go. So I kind of took the wind out of their sails a bit.
Oh, Richard, you do make me laugh, and
Yeah.
you've certainly brightened up my day today. Now, Richard, we've got lots of questions coming through, so I'm going to pop them up on the screen so
Okay.
people can see. But what I wanted to ask, Richard, if anybody's got a question for you, uh, please do
Please do
post
fire
in the
away.
comments. We got a message from Andrew here. Andrew says, "Nice to see you both. I live in Surrey, Richard. Are there any places you find that are also particularly autism friendly?"
I would say places like parks, open spaces, really. Um, I mean, I don't think that the supermarket is particularly autism friendly,
Mm.
especially at the moment. You have to queue outside for ages,
So
and
what are you doing about that, Richard? What are you doing about your shopping? Are you going out getting shopping, or is somebody getting shopping for you, or what's happening with the coronavirus? So are you going out doing your shopping?
yeah, I still go out to do my shopping. I have to stand outside and wait till there's a space. You know, so the one group will go in and then another group will come out. And of course, the trolleys will also move along like a train. I said to my mum the other day when we was in there, we went together. The trolleys move along like a train, don't they? It's sort of like one train here and another train here. They stop, sort of like a train.
Yeah. Now, being a bit serious about this, because I think it is a very serious topic.
It is a serious
Now,
matter. Yeah.
now, do you think the government, because we can share this video to the government, we can also share it to supermarkets as well after. I'll show it to Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, and the other major supermarkets. Do you think, Richard, that the government and the supermarkets should be prioritising people with autism to get their shopping as a priority?
I think that they definitely should be, yes. They should be sort of like, when you come, "Oh, come on in, Richard," sort of thing. We know that you've got a problem, and I think they should be doing it with other disabilities as well, and also, of course, with the elderly. I think they should definitely be doing it more, and it shouldn't be early in the morning like it is, because they say from 8 in the morning, I think it is, to about 9 or something. It's for
Yeah, well, I think it's Sainsbury's is 8 till 9 and Tesco's 9 till 10 or something like that. Do you think that's too early?
I think it is, because I like to be in bed.
You want to have a lie-in, don't
I
you?
like to
You don't
have
want to
my
get off.
lie, because I'm up at 9, and I'm always up at 9 o'clock without fail, sort of thing. I don't like to be in bed till 10 o'clock. It has happened, unfortunately. Perhaps when the alarm doesn't go off, I'm still lying there in bed fast asleep, and it really is annoying.
We've got a message from Wendy. Wendy says,
Yeah.
"Do you live independently, Richard? And how long have you lived independently for?"
Yes, I do live independently. I've lived independently now for the last 20 odd years of my life. I've lived independently.
So you do your own cooking, your own shopping.
Yep, all my own shopping. I drive a car, I run a car as well, and that costs an awful lot of money as well.
What you having for tea, Richard, tonight?
It'll be my usual. I've got some beef mince, and also I've got a bit of rice left over, because I actually stockpiled rice
You
months.
stockpiled rice.
Yes, because basically what I tend to do with rice is I buy 2 large packets of rice a month, and unfortunately, at the moment, I can't get any, but it doesn't really matter because I've got plenty. So that should hopefully last till this crisis has long gone over. I hope
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Uh,
So
can't really
do
tell.
you have set meals every day? Do you follow a routine, or do you just?
Um, well, actually, I pretty much have the same thing over and over. It's rice and also beef mince with a bit of chili powder mixed in, and some onions and a little bit of garlic as well. Tins of tomatoes are not exactly plentiful at the moment, are they, Kevin? So
No.
unfortunately, they've already gone by the time you get to the supermarket. So that is a little bit upsetting. So I'm actually very careful with the ones that I've got, and
Mm.
only take a spoonful or so out of the tin and just put it into a bowl in the fridge and take a little bit out. It's got a bit of garlic in it as well. I think if I was to put the whole thing in, it would be overpowering with the garlic. So um, I think the amount that I actually put in is about adequate. A little spoon of tomato puree as well. That's another thing that they're out of at the moment. So it is quite frankly, how can I put it, annoying.
So if you're in the supermarket, Rich, at the moment with the coronavirus, and you can walk down the supermarket aisle and you find that there's something missing, then you want another ingredient, and that's missing, and you go to another aisle, and there's one left on the shelf, and somebody else goes to get it. What would you do, Richard? Would you challenge him over the last two
Well,
quarters?
it kind of depends. I might do, unless of course they'd already sort of picked it up and they'd got there. But if I was picking it up at the same time, and it's sort of like our hands, excuse me, sort of thing, there could be potentially an argument over
Yeah.
it.
What would you do? What would you say to that person?
Excuse me, but can we have half each?
Half each.
Can we have half each? I don't know how much they cost. I don't know, 50p or so. Well, the ones I got the other day were 50p, but they had other ingredients put in as well. So it's probably a bit more expensive. So 25p each.
We've got another message coming in
Oh yes,
from
yes, of course.
Linda. Linda says, "Thank you for my son's message today. I was very grateful. He's autistic, and was good to know that this doesn't have to hinder you, and you can still be successful." Uh, Tracy says on Facebook as well. She says, "Are there many autism friendly cinemas around where you are, Richard? And what do you think of, do you go to the cinema, Richard?"
Never go to the cinema. I've only gone into the cinema about once back in the 1980s to see Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't really like being sort of packed in the cinema. I mean, my mum has tried to persuade me to go in the past, but I like absolutely not. No way, because I can get what I want to see on YouTube anyway.
Don't
Just have
do
to,
you want to go to the cinema, Richard, because it's expensive and you don't want to spend any money?
I don't want to spend any money because it's ridiculous, and I don't know why people want to spend their money on going to a cinema when you can actually watch it at home.
What I agree with you, but
Yeah.
from the social aspect of it, going in the cinema, you can have some popcorn or some sweets in there.
Oh, don't give me popcorn. Oh, no, no, no.
You don't like popcorn?
I don't like popcorn. I don't particularly like sweets much either. Not really got much of a sweet tooth. I mean, I can take a bit of chocolate, but I won't take an awful lot of
Yeah.
chocolate because you can have too much of it. Used to eat chocolate all the time if I could when I was a kid, but not now that I'm an adult. Seem to have lost the sweet tooth
So
thing.
if I said to you, Richard, birthdays or Christmas, which one would you pick?
I would say birthdays definitely, because your birthday is it's all about you.
Yeah.
My birthday is my birthday. It's my birthday, so I can do what I like.
Now, if somebody sent you a birthday card, Richard, and it was a relative, let's say a cousin or an aunt or an uncle, and they sent you a birthday card and they only put a fiver in it, what would you say?
Okay, no problem. I wouldn't really care because
The thought what?
quite frankly, because I don't go in for spending money on presents at all. Really,
You don't
I
believe
wouldn't
in
actually
that.
mind actually because I can see it from that point of view.
So when it's somebody else's birthday, Richard, do you get them a present or not? Or just send them a card? Or do you just make one?
Normally, I'll just send the card out.
With no money?
No money, no,
Even if it's a relation like a brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle,
never.
they just get a card.
Just get a card and have done with it. If I even bother at all.
Oh, I love it, Richard. Oh, I just
Uh,
you just say it as it is, and that's really good. We've got some
yeah,
more messages coming in, Richard.
okay, yeah.
We've got one here from Sharon. Sharon says,
Hi, Sharon.
"You were great on the Undateable, Richard, but it's even nicer and funnier in real life. How do you feel about how you come across on the show? Did you have to put like an act on, or were you just yourself, Rich? Because I think that's how you came across on the show. You're just yourself."
Well, yes, I think a lot of it is Richard Lawrence basically not trying really. It's just 100% me, and I kind of put out sort of more of an extreme type of who I am, sort of thing. So it's me all over, and I
Did
like to
you,
let.
did you actually swear on the show, Richard?
Oh yes, of course I do. Yeah.
Now, without saying the full words, you can just say, the abbreviated letters. What really irritated you, or what really made you angry to swear?
What really makes me cross is well, when they put me on a date with somebody who's across the other side of the capital. I mean, I kind of refuse to believe that that there isn't anybody around my immediate area, really.
So, are we talking you won't only want to travel in a certain mile radius, or?
Well, yes, within the 5 mile limit, really. But I'm like, oh, to hell with it. Oh, okay, we'll go along with it. We'll go along with it. If that's what you want to do, we'll go along with it.
So what if it was somebody special you were attracted to, and it was over that 5 mile radius?
That would be a problem for me because I'm the sort of person. I don't know if there was an emergency. I don't know. Say, for instance, her father has died or her mum's ill or whatever. If she's just down the road, I can drop a hat and I can just go over there now. But if she's 20 or 30 miles away, I can't just get in the car and go, really.
And would you ask that girlfriend to pay the petrol money, or or would you buy the petrol money to visit her, or would you say, look, you've got to compromise here. It's a relationship. It's half and half. Have you, so
What I'll do
what do you do, Rich?
is I'll put in a claim for travel expenses.
But would you say that if you were in a long term relationship with a lady, and it was going perfectly well and you were thinking of getting married, etc., would you say to her, Luke, come on now, it's a relationship, everything's half and half, or would you just say, I'll be generous and I'll just pay for everything?
Well, I won't pay for everything. There's no way I'll ever pay for everything. The thing is, you see, if you only live down the road, I mean, I wouldn't mind just getting in the car and driving over to see her. I don't think that would be a problem. But if she lives 20 or 30 miles down the road, I'd be like, no, you pay for it.
But,
But also, that's not the only problem. The problem with that is I'd have to find my way to where she lives, and my map reading is not very good, and I'm not a very good driver either. I'm okay within the area that I know where I live. I can drive almost any vehicle you like, whether it be a car, van, lorry, or whatever. I'd be perfectly safe, I'm sure. But ask me to drive a Mini to, I don't know, from here to, say, Manchester, I'll be like, no way.
so have you got any? Is there any more shows lined up or scheduled for the Undateables, or is that it now? What's your where do you want to go with your TV career? Because you are a TV star now. Have you thought of having your own chat show, or inviting
Well,
guests on, or?
that's kind of the area that we're looking at. I mean, I think there will be another Christmas special. I would think I'd be in it, but I couldn't be absolutely sure. But I mean, I would think that they probably would want me back again. But actually, this is a thing that we're looking into. There's a friend of mine who literally lives in the next street. He's a sort of showbiz manager, agent, and we're kind of sort of looking into that. But it's getting the money together and getting everything ready. We're actually building it. He's building it himself with another friend because we can't get the money together at the moment. It's actually rather difficult. So it's been a fair few months since anything has been done. But when it's actually done, we can think about what we're going to do and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully, there'll be no stopping us. So you never know. But that's what I would like to do. I'd like to get into something like that, sort of chat show, and what would you do in a certain situation, sort of thing. Is what I say right, sort of thing. But I think actually what I say is right from where I'm coming from. Anyway, I mean, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with saying the truth as you see it?
Well, yeah, as people on the spectrum, it can be quite literal, and we say it as it actually is, which
Yeah.
is good. But Richard, we've been on for 50 minutes now. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
And you,
Really
yes.
enjoyed speaking to you, and it's been a great, and you've shared a lot of information. Because it says World Autism Awareness Week this week, so we'll share this video out on social media as well and get people to watch it on catch up on replay. But give my love to your mum, because I think your mum's wonderful. So
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, well, I mean, I think she'll see it anyway because it'll be posted to Facebook. If it hasn't already been posted to Facebook,
yeah.
it will be, I'm sure.
So when this live video's finished, yeah, post it, share it. Let's get it out there for World Autism Awareness Week, because we need more awareness around autism, because it's something which doesn't really get mentioned that much in the public domain at the moment.
I mean, it used to be a few years ago. I remember 10 or 15 years ago, it was very much in the public eye because numbers kept on and on and on and on rising. they say 1 in 100 people in the UK, but I think it's more than that. It's got to be sort of 50. Would you say, Kevin?
Probably is, yeah. I think that the national figures at the moment are 1 in every 100, but more research is coming through, more data is coming through, more children are getting diagnosed, more adults are slipping through the net. So, I think in America now, I think they say 1 in every 80 or something like that. In the
Yeah,
UK, it's 1 in every 100, and I think it's a lot of people do get slip through the net or don't get diagnosed or struggle through school or education or university or college. There's probably people walking around now who we meet every day who we probably think, oh, has she got autism, has he got autism? But
yeah,
because I think people with autism can actually see, we've got sort of like radars where we can see other people who
yeah,
may be on the spectrum, but we don't, we don't go and say, because we're not clinicians, we don't say, oh, I think you're
yeah,
autistic or, you're on the spectrum, but you can see it in people.
yeah. I'll tell you what, I had an encounter the other day when I went to Asda. This guy come up to me. I'm not going to mention a name, but he come up to me. He goes, "Oh, I'll take your trolley once you've finished." And he's protecting himself from the coronavirus. I could tell because I couldn't see his face at all.
Did he have a mask?
Very, very nice guy, yeah. And so anyway, I goes, "Here you are, mate. I've finished now." And he goes, "I love your Facebook posts, by the way." And he took his mask off and started talking. But
Stay 2 meters away.
yeah, but I was absolutely sure that. Well, I wasn't sure, but I think this guy might have been on the autistic spectrum. He might have, but I can't say for sure because I'm not qualified to do so,
Mm.
really. But there's another guy there who is, and he's told me that he is, sort of thing. So I'm pretty sure that he is, but I don't think he's been officially diagnosed. But between me and him and the other people that work there, it's kind of accepted that he is, I think.
Well, Richard, we could chat all day, but we've been on an
Oh,
hour.
yeah,
It's been honestly, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
yeah.
I
Well, the time has flown
it
by, to
has,
be
yeah, and
honest.
it's
It's been an hour, I
an
think.
hour,
Yeah.
yeah, wow. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this. So I'll share this on Twitter, I'll share it on Facebook. You
Yeah.
do the same, Richard.
Share it everywhere you can.
Share it
Put it on
all
my,
over the world.
yeah,
Share it all
on
on the
my wall. Make sure it's on the wall, and hopefully it'll go everywhere. I mean, I can see it now here. 3 hours ago, you sent the link through, so hopefully it'll be everywhere.
We got one last message here before
Oh
we
yes,
go.
yes.
She
Before we wrap up.
Gabriella says, hi, Richard and Kevin. First time listening. I'm passionate for autism awareness. So there you go, Richard.
Yeah,
We've actually reached out today and shared autism awareness for World Autism Awareness Week. Richard, have a great day and have a fantastic weekend. The sun's out this weekend. Go sit in your garden, have a
yeah.
barbecue, and that's all we can do.
Well, my mum's got a little bit of garden, so I'll be out there at some point. I will be. I mean, we do like to go out for some fresh air in the garden. So
Yeah.
probably on Sunday we'll do that. So
Yeah, and one last message before we go off air. Wendy says, bye, Richard and Kevin. It's been interesting
yeah.
listening to.
Bye, Wendy. Yeah,
So thanks, Wendy. Thanks, Gabriella, Tracy, Sharon, Carla, Linda, Wendy, Andrew again, Kerry, Julia, Tamara. Lots of people have joined us today. Richard, once again, thanks for being on the show. It's been such a pleasure. You've really made my day today for coming on the show.
yeah.
It's been such a pleasure.
We'll do this again some point.
Definitely, Richard. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah. It's been a pleasure.
Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy your meal tonight, Richard. Enjoy the weekend. And let's hope and pray that this coronavirus is over soon for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Take care, Richard.
Yeah. Take care, Kevin. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.